Number 1, 9 and 4 times 3. Times 3. And how did you know to go to one place for the dentist now?
Because when I did the thing, there was only one,
Okay.
and it was not a good.
All right. How about number 2? Number 2 for us. Audra? And you are on Tim. Okay, Audra, let's stop. One second. If you get a subtraction and there's more left over than what we're dividing by your divisor, what do we know could happen? If you go into what? One more time, right? So instead of 2, it should be what? Let's just erase it. There you go. Use your pen. Use that one. There you go. And then erase the 24 and on down. Use your hand and erase the 24 on down. Erase the 24. There you go. So it goes in there, so 2 times, it goes in there 3 times. There you go. And 36. There you go. So instead of a remainder of 3, let's make it a fraction. You make it a fraction. Oh, go. Good. Is that in North term? Can we divide 3 and 12 by anything?
Yeah.
4. Divided by 4. 3. It is about another, but we just, do 3 and 12 have a common factor? Is 4 a factor of 3?
No,
Is 6 a factor of 3? What's a common factor of 3 and 12? Ezra? 3. 3. So divide 3 and 12 by 3, please. You can divide by 3 over 3. So our final answer would be? There we go. Good. All right. Thank you. Go ahead and hit the all erase button, please. Thanks. Number 3, the ratio of number of days in a week to the number of days in a weekend. Ezra. Just a pencil up there. There you go. How many days are a week? 7. How many days are a weekend? 2. All right, number 4, they gave you the formula for the area of a triangle. Who's ready to tackle that one? Esther, write the formula down first. Go ahead and hit the erase. The all erase. It's underneath the eraser. Yep, all right. So start out with A equals 1 1/2 times D times H. All right, now we need to substitute. So the next step underneath that, A equals 1/2. What was the measure of the base, everybody? 2. What was the measure of the height? 2. This is one of the hard ones because the numbers were the same, right? All right, what's that equal to, Spencer? Oh my, did we put it there? Oh my. Use your finger, yep. What's half of 2, Spencer?
1.
1, and what's 1 times 2? What? 2. So put that underneath. And then 2 square meters. There we go. Questions on that? There are the steps to find the area of a triangle. It's so nice to have the steps to find the area of a triangle, particularly this week. We all see how to find the area of a triangle right now. Isn't that nice?
Oh, yeah.
That we have steps to know how to find the area of a triangle. How nice that is that we see how to find the steps to find the area of a triangle. How handy that is this week. How super handy that is. How extremely handy that is. All right, moving on to number 5. Number 5. Abby. Pay attention to number 5 and on the board, please. Oh, Abby, what's a half plus a half? What's 1/2 plus 1/2? 1 whole. So what's 6 plus 1 whole? There we go. All right, number 6. What's the week column wall full of? 5 and 7, everybody? 35. 35. And number 7, how many of you circled 6 12? 9 18? 12 6 20th? It is 12 20th. Number 8. Number 8. I need somebody up at the board, please. Number 8. And of course, they don't want to Bernardo.
Come on, Gloria, you got it.
Hustle, let's go. Get you all clear. Let's go. Okay, you can do math since you're far away now from people.
Thanks, Bob.
Oh, you want to be, yeah, you don't want anybody to see you, huh? All right. Formula for the volume of a rectangular prism is volume equals, put it up higher, you're going to need stuff underneath it. Volume equals, V equals. Everybody should just put these down. Length L times W times H. Length times what times height is what that is.
Yep.
What is the length of this particular one, everybody?
9.
9. So put 9 under the length. What is the width of this one, everybody?
8.
It is not 8.
1.
It is 1.
Oh.
It is 1. Width is 1. What is the height? 8. We should have those steps written down. And then Eduardo, I'll let you do the multiplication. Eduardo,
Yeah,
I'll let you do the multiplication.
I already did it.
And what did you get?
22.
So put that underneath. And its volume, so it's cubic meters.
How do you spell that? Cube.
You can do M with a little 3 as an exponent.
Cubic. What?
M for meters.
Cubic. Cubic.
And you use the 3 as the exponent.
Cubic.
M,
So you put
raise 3.
a little 3 of one.
Go 3, raise up. There you go.
Feet.
There you go.
Cubic meters.
Number 9, how to write 5% as a decimal. You tell us.
0.
500.
500.
What? As a decimal?
No, it's 5 times.
Nope. Ezra.
0 and 500.
Yes, 500. 0.05. 0.05. And number 10, what digit did you circle that was in the 10th place?
0.
The 0. Please record your scores.
I mean, this is Alan.
Yes.
Now I understand the point.
I was hoping that would help. As a reminder, in case of horrible weather and we do e-learning tomorrow, make sure you have your Chromebook home, your book home, any of your Friday work home, any of it. Like we've had 2 of them this week. Okay? Take any of it home. Okay? So that if we have e-learning tomorrow, you would have it. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, let's get into training camp. I'm hoping that they're
I'm on it.
helping. Oh, come on. It's only up once. Wait, it's only up again. We want to go with our fraction types today. Here we go. Let's see if we can pull this one off. You do know this is all new to me, right? All right. Today, we are going to try to do the problem 4 times 1/3. 4 times 1/3. Okay? I'm pretty sure I can pull it off. I have confidence in myself, right?
Twenty-two.
I can do it on paper, I can draw these pictures, I just gotta get to, yeah, I can do that. You have confidence in me, right? Nobody has confidence in me?
You said we did.
Yeah, we did.
I heard that from the back row, you were kind of going, no.
Okay, it's all.
Yeah, come on, I can do this. Because here's how we're gonna do this. 4 times, we need 1/3, right? So here's how we're gonna show this. 4 times, we need 1/3. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 times 1/3, right? Okay? Yes? All right? 4 times 1/3. Well, that means we need to put them all together, right? If I put them all together, 3/3 makes up 1 whole. I get 1 and 1/3. Yes? Okay? What?
So what I did was
Okay, we're gonna go through this whole exercise, okay? Hold on.
I did that, so I got 4 holes.
Okay? Just hold on. All right? Does that make sense? Okay? Now, what we could do is drag like a whole amount down and start filling in. But what I did was I had you understand that 3/3 made up a third, right? I jumped over let's see how many whole amounts we can fill in. Does that make sense? I jumped over that step because I think you understand that 3/3 makes up a whole. Yes? No? Okay? So 4 times a third, or 4 1/3 gives us 1 and a third, right? Okay? I'm going to clear that one. See, I knew what I was doing, didn't I? And some of you doubted me.
Who did that?
3 times 2/3. 3 times 2/3. So here we go. We need. There's one group of 2/3. 2 groups of 2/3. 3 groups of 2/3. Okay? So we have 3 groups of 2/3, right? And we want to know what that's equal to. Now, again, I could go with the assumption, you know, that 3/3 equals 1, or I can be pulling out these and fill them up, right? So I could do this business. There's 1 whole. It equals 2. Okay? Does that make sense? All right. Four times 5/6. 4 times 5/6. Okay, we all have the picture looking like this. Now in this one, it would be labor intense if we pull out a whole amount and then try to drag everything over, right? So what we could do is we could go like this, and we say, oh, I only need one more 6 to complete it, right? So I could go down here and drag it up to complete it, which means I just need one more there, which means I just need one more there, which means I have 1, 2, 3, and 2, 6, right? And if I understand this, I know that 2, 6 wouldn't be in lowest terms. It would actually be 1/3. Yes? So it would be,
3 and
or 3, I'm sorry. 3 and
1/3.
1/3 when it's all said and done, right?
This is minus.
Okay? That makes sense?
Mhm.
Okay.
That has off.
Does that make sense? Okay. Now, do we understand how to manipulate these? Okay. Four times 1/2. If we bring 1 down, we can see that 2 halves make up a whole. So our answer would be 2. Okay? And by doing that, I can see that you have connected the pieces together and that you came up with 2. All right? Now, without using our pieces, we had 4 times 1/2 up here. Our amount of 4, if it's a whole number of 4, it's 4 divided by 1. 4 ones. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay? 4 divided by 1 is 4. Does that make sense? Okay? Times 1/2 equals 4 halves, right? Yes? And what's 4 divided by 2? We end up with our 2. Does that make sense? Okay? All right. Let's do another one. Three times 2/3. Dante?
Oh, so if we have to look on this, we're gonna have to screenshot it again.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Let's stick with what we're doing here. Okay? Does everybody have that? and that gave you 2, right? Okay. So mathematically, we would do it 3 over 1, because that's a whole number. Does that make sense? What's 3 divided by 1? 3. That's where that comes from. Okay? Multiplied by 2 over 3. What's 3 times 2? 6. Now, the other thing I want to show you, I had 6 thirds. Does that help you understand where that 6 thirds comes from? Okay? And what's 6 divided by 3? 2. All right? Does that make sense? Okay. Now, if you were needing to show me this, like in a screenshot, this right here doesn't show me the whole picture, does it? Okay? Like I didn't see 3 groups of 2/3. So if you were to do this for a screenshot, then you would have to do 2 separate pictures. Does that make sense? Like you would have to originally show me this, okay? And then you would have to show me the fact that, you know, you lined up everything over here. Does that make sense? Because this shows me 3 groups of 2/3. This shows me then that you took all that and lined them up in whole groups. Does that make sense? Okay. This would show me mathematically what went on. This would show me mathematically what went on. Does that make sense? Dante?
So could we have it like that and have an equal sign between them? Or
You can, but you don't need to. Ezra? Ezra, can you do math so I can understand you, please?
Like if we had a screenshot, then we did this the method that right there. Would we have to do it? Would it just be one screenshot?
Right here would be your screenshot. This would be your done product. This is what you would show me. Yes? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like we have to do the math at the top.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. But do you understand you would need both pieces for me to understand that you were showing me you started out with 3 groups of 2/3 and then that you combined them like this? Okay. All right. Let's do another one. Let's do 4 times 2/3. So that we can do like a complete picture. Does that make sense? So if you had to screenshot it? Does that make sense? Okay. So we would start out with 4 groups of 2/3. Right? Yes? Okay. And then we come over here. And how many thirds are we going to put under there? 3 of them. Have we used up all of our thirds yet? No? How many thirds are we going to put under here? Have we used up all of our thirds yet? How many more thirds do we have? Okay. Does that make sense? So now, up here, we could do 4/1 multiplied by 2/3. We had how many thirds? How many thirds did we have? 8 thirds. Which gave us 2 and 2/3. Yes. If this is a whole number, our denominator will be 1. Because 4 divided by 1 is 4. Okay? Does that make sense? Yes? Are we clear on that? Does this make sense? So we're multiplying a whole number by a fraction. Every time it reached a whole amount, you know, our thirds, it started a whole nother whole amount, right? So a third plus a third plus a third plus a third, you know, it just keeps going. 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3, it just keeps increasing, right? 4 groups of 2/3 means that 4 times we added 2/3 together, right? So when we slam them all together, we start getting whole amounts. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Is everybody understanding where this 4/1 comes from? Okay. Do you understand what you would do a screenshot of? Okay. Questions? Okay. Let's look at our book on page 433, please. Okay, on 433, this would be the drawing of the pictures instead of using your grading team, or grade camp. The grading camp is a whole lot easier. Okay, that's what this is all about. All right. So this, just to give you an idea, 5 times 3/8. Here's your 5 groups, right? And you would have filled in 3/8 of each, right? Right? And then you come down here and you transfer all of them down there into one picture. Does that make sense? So these 3 come down here. These are the next 3. These are the next 3. 8, 6, 6. These are the next three. These are the next three. Does that make sense? So when you have to do it on paper and pencil, that's what it looks like. But I'm letting you use your manipulatives on your Chromebook. Okay? So that's what it looks like when you have to do it paper and pencil. All right? Same concept, it's just you have to use paper and pencil. You can't use your finger and move things. Click and it drags over. Okay? All right? So here, the 5 times 3/8, they're saying you multiply the 8 size pieces each by the whole number 5. Well, here's where I did the 5 over 1 times the 3/8 would equal that 15/8. Does that make sense? Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. And then how do you get that 15/8 into a mixed number? Well, we know this is a division bar also. So 15 divided by 8. How many 8s go into 15? Some of you aren't writing it down. Some of you aren't even looking at me. How many 8s go into 15? The remainder is the what? Numerator. The divisor is the denominator. So there's your 1 7/8 again, which would have been what matched up with your picture. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. So again, that matches what we did with our fraction pieces, only we have to do it by picture form here instead of dragging our fraction pieces. Yes?
This way kind of makes sense in my head, looking at this method.
Okay. All right. So I want to show you that because that's what's in the book. So that if you're looking in the book, you're not confused on how this matches with what we just did. Okay? All right. So if you look on page 434, there's that 4 groups of 2/3. So 4 groups of 2/3. And we have to shade in 2/3 of each of these, right? Yes? And then down here, fill in, there's that one, right? Then I want to fill in those two. Then I want to fill in those two. And I just keep filling them in until I have them all filled in, right? Okay. And back up, I want to fill in those two. Right? Okay. Does that make sense? So I have 2 and 2/3 loaves of bread. Okay. Same concept, only you're just filling in color lines. So the other is more just manipulating the rower as opposed to trying to fill in and keep track of what you fill in. Here, if you're using this, changing your colors helps you keep track of where you are. Questions on that? Anybody? Any questions on this concept today? Okay, let's take a look then on page 437. All right, as we look on page 437, in this section 2 through 9, you're going to use your Chromebooks, and you're going to do your screenshots again, and you're going to do showing me in picture form and showing me the number of sentences as well, just like I showed you up here, okay? But we've got things like 9 groups of, 8 groups of, 10 groups of, all right? I don't need you to prove it with that many groups, that many times, okay? So what I want you to do out of all of these, pick 4. Pick 4. Now listen carefully. Pick 4 to demonstrate with the pictures. Okay? With the screenshot, the whole 9-yard screenshot thing. Okay? And then do the others without the demonstration. Okay? So in other words, you're going to mathematically prove it without the picture. Okay? So, for instance, 4 of them, whoops, I don't care which 4, are going to have both the picture and the math work, right? Right? Does that make sense? And then the others are going to have like 3 times 3/4. So you're going to have 3 over 1 times 3/4 equals 9 over 4 equals whatever, right? Okay? That's what the others are going to have, right? Yes? So that's what the others are going to have. All right? But I want 4 of them. I want you to show me proof with picture and math work. Do your screenshots, okay? And then all the others, the math work is fine.
Including
Okay? All right? Does that make sense? Okay? So, that's what you're doing in that 2 through 9 section. All right? 10 and 11, your choice. If you want to show me pictures and math work, or just math work, I don't care. All right? You do not have to do 12. I will explain to you why we don't do a lot of these. We do a lot of other work where you have to describe things. So that's why I take out a lot of these. Does that make sense? We already do a lot of descriptive things. We already do a lot of explain to me business. Okay? Outside of our book. Okay? So we use our book for a lot of basic, prove to me you know the basic arithmetic type things. Because we already do a lot of describe to me stuff. Okay? Dante,
So we can do for before we do the picture and we do it on Google Docs, but can we still use it for the other ones but not do the picture? Like use the screen cam for the other ones that we're not taking a screenshot of?
I don't care. You're saying so it's all on one thing? Yeah, I don't care. You're putting it on a Google Doc. So if you have it all on a Google Doc, I don't care. That's fine. What? Well, I'm not done with my explanations. I've been interrupted with questions. So I'm not done with my explanations. Well, I look on page 438. I would think those could be done as well. Okay? In theory, it's due tomorrow. We have a large chunk of study time. I have given ginormous hints for the I learn, like practically gave the answer away today. Many of you are well underway with that. Remember, take that home tonight as well as your other empty cells if you don't already have that done and turned in. Okay. Those are all due tomorrow. Don't count on us not being here tomorrow. They're due tomorrow. Don't give me this noise of, well, I didn't think we were going to be here tomorrow, so I didn't do it last night. I thought I had a weekend business. Okay? My preference is that, like, until 9:30, you try to get I Learn done and turned in, and then start working on the assignment. Does that make sense? Because I will see you guys again when? At Flex today. So if I can, if you turn them in by 9:30, I can start grading them, and then you could have them back to take home tonight and know where you stand. Does that make sense? Okay? So, chop chop. Let's do it.